So Anish, Ceann Comhairle Taoiseach, last week you and your government forced through an amendment to legislation dealing with COVID business supports that provided yet another tax break to investment funds, to cuckoo funds, and this was an incredibly bad move, representing very bad value for taxpayers' money, lowering the number of homes available to buy by ordinary workers and families, and pushing up the cost of housing for everyone. Indeed, it is a prime example of all that is wrong with your housing policy, and another example of how you and your party, how you and your partners in government don't understand the scale of the crisis in housing. Taoiseach, on Sunday, the Business Post reported that your plan to lease 2,400 homes this year alone would cost in the region of €1 billion over the lifetime of those leasing arrangements. And what's worst of all is that at the end of the 25-year period, the state won't own these properties, despite paying in excess of €375,000 each for them within the 25-year time frame. We know that these leasing arrangements are even more expensive, by the way, in the city of Dublin, running at almost €500,000 each unit. So little wonder that the funds industry is delighted with your latest move, which continues apace despite you telling the Dáil in May that this practice should cease. On the flip side of the coin, Taoiseach, the latest figures available from the Department of Housing showed that the cost of building homes, of building social and affordable housing, is much, much less than these expensive leasing arrangements, on average coming in at about €240,000. So it now is apparent that you are content to fork out well over the odds for these leasing arrangements to these funds for properties that will not be in the ownership of the state at the end of the leasing arrangement. None of this makes any sense at all, Taoiseach. In fact, it's the same mentality that's given us the disastrous deal in respect of the cost of the National Children's Hospital, which, as you know, is running spectacularly over budgets. And Taoiseach, private interests should not be skimming super profits off the top of building public infrastructure, and yet this is what you are facilitating. And your repeated assertion that these leasing arrangements are short-term doesn't stack up when you consider that these arrangements will be in place for 25 years, and in the case of these 2,400 homes, will cost the taxpayer and the state €1 billion. Can you confirm that cost, Taoiseach, of €1 billion? Can you confirm what I have said, that at the end of the 25 years these homes will not be owned by the state? And can I say to you once again, Taoiseach, I urge you again, as I have urged you before, to desist, cease and desist from these failed policies, and instead to invest in the construction, in the building of social homes, of affordable homes. And what we need, Taoiseach, is not sweetheart deals for these funds, these cuckoo funds. We need a doubling of capital investment in social and affordable housing, and that is what should be announced in the summer economic statement.
Thank you, Deputy McDonald. Taoiseach, please.
If I could first of all take the opportunity to congratulate Ivana Bacik on election to Dáil Éireann and to welcome you warmly to this House.
You,
I think you have been a long-standing activist on public and social issues. I think the people of Dublin Bay South recognise that and reflected that in their affirmation of your role. And I have no doubt from your previous parliamentary experience that you will add value to Dáil Éireann. I also can pay tribute to your party for its success in the by-election, and no doubt we'll have the occasional engagement and debate on issues pertaining to the society and to the future of our country. In respect of Deputy McDonald's charge, I would have to say that Deputy McDonald's portrayal of government's housing policy is flawed and is wrong in its assertions. And I think the decision last week related to social homes and social housing. And without question, the government focus has been on the need to build homes directly, social houses, and also affordable housing. And in fairness, any objective look at the last month will see a Minister for Housing who's been very, very active here on a number of fronts. Last week alone, in terms of his decision on rent, reducing it and making sure it can't increase into the future beyond inflation. A very significant move that the Deputy chose to ignore. The range of affordability measures from the legislation on the Land Development Agency, legislation in relation to affordable homes, the shared equity. And I note the Deputy railed against this for the last number of weeks, but ended up voting for the Affordable Housing Bill. So it's very difficult to take the Deputy seriously. Came in here week after week, attacking the Minister for a variety of measures that your party subsequently supported and voted for. And you talk about, taking the issue seriously and understanding the nature of housing. I don't think in reality you can lay that charge against any party in this House, given your party's record in opposing so many houses that were shovel-ready, projects ready to go. You opposed 975 homes in Clondalkin, 30% of which were social houses. You opposed 500 homes in Tala, of which 80% would be social or affordable houses. You opposed 278 homes in Swords. More recently, you voted against 1,200 social, affordable and private homes in Ballymastone, Donabate. That development would have delivered 238 social homes and 238 affordable homes at prices between 250,000 and 270,000. You opposed the Land Development Agency bill, which is about affordability and getting state delivery of both social homes and affordable homes. You spoke out and railed against the shared equity scheme, which will help people to buy houses at an affordable level. You opposed the Help to Buy scheme, which so far has had 22,000 first-time buyers. But you said, your party and your spokesperson said we didn't need it. And you've called for it to be scrapped. I don't get any sincerity in your protestations about housing. And I don't get any substance either. I get a sense, Deputy, that your objective and mission is to exploit the housing crisis for electoral gain only. You are not interested in solutions around housing. You're interested in exploiting the housing problem. And I can say this much. In the context of the housing for all strategy that the Minister is working on and the Minister will publish, our overwhelming focus will be on direct build of social houses. We're in transition now, and we just simply cannot turn off the tap where social houses can be provided through this leasing arrangement in the short term to provide for families out there, 2,400 families, who can avail of social housing through this model. It's not the ideal model at all, and that is why you will see the focus coming off that, but it's not the main focus at the moment, and never has been. The main focus is direct build, and also the state getting directly involved in building and providing affordable homes for people who need to get access to houses that they can afford in cities and in towns across the country.
Thank you very much. Deputy McDonald.
So public land should be used for building public housing, social and affordable housing, full stop. The days of you and your crony friends, the big developers creaming off at the people's expense should be over, Taoiseach. I would have thought you would have learned that from catastrophes past, but perhaps you haven't. So you're confirming that €1 billion will be spent, will go into the pockets of these investment funds to lease back homes that will not be owned by the state. Your assertion that this is transitional or short-term is patently untrue, given that the lifespan of these leases is 25 years. And your focus, Taoiseach, is not on direct build. If your focus was on direct build and delivery of public housing, of social and affordable housing at scale, then we would not have this point of contention or disagreement. It is Sinn Féin's view, but it is also the view of the ESRI and many, many others that we need to double capital investment in the construction of social and affordable housing. So could you please confirm for me that the summer economic statement will contain a doubling of capital investment in this way?
Thank you very much.
Taoiseach, and I'd appreciate a direct answer.
Thank you. Taoiseach.
Well, first of all, again, the government is a year in office. It has been hit by the COVID pandemic, and the COVID pandemic, because of the lockdowns, has resulted in close to 8,000 to 9,000, if not 10,000 houses not being built due to the two lockdowns in particular, and that has set us back somewhat. But we're going to try and catch up as quickly as we possibly can. And any look at the figures and any look at the focus will have to come back with the conclusion that it is on direct bills, both social and affordable, and the state getting involved in affordable, and through the Land Development Agency, utilising state lands to get far greater amounts of housing delivered. Because the issue is about housing supply and getting far more houses built in the coming years than we've been building in the last number of years. Last year, it was close to 20,000. It would have been much higher, but for COVID. This year, we had targeted 25. COVID hit us again. We're hoping to get close to 18. If we can exceed that, all the better. But from then on, in the Housing for All strategy, and there will be additional capital funding provided in the Housing for All strategy, the focus, as always has been the case as far as I'm concerned, will be on direct bills and affordable housing.
The Leader of the Labour Party, Deputy Alan Kelly, please.
Thank you, Ciarán Comhairle. May I firstly just welcome my colleague Ivana Bacik into Dáil Éireann and congratulate her on her proud achievement. We're very proud of her in the Labour Party. She's an incredible legislator, and thanks for your kind words, Taoiseach, and